Empire Records is a 90s teen comedy set predominantly in an independent record store called Empire Records. One night, store employee Lucas is given a simple job by the manager Joe to close up shop for the night, along with some other simple instructions.
Count money twice, keep my hands off of his beer, cigars, and drumsticks.
And, as we can see, it would seem that Lucas isn't exactly the type of person who follows orders or instructions very well. While Lucas is at Joe's desk, he stumbles across some paperwork that indicates Empire Records is going to be sold to a franchise chain of record stores called Music Town. Lucas, in his infinite wisdom, decides to take the money that Joe asked him to look after and decides to gamble it in the hope that he can win enough money so the buyout doesn't happen. He actually wins, but then he loses it all, and thus sets up the main plot of the movie. Can Lucas, Joe and the other employees fix what Lucas has done and save their beloved place of employment from being sold to a soulless corporate entity? It would be easy to view Empire Records as just another run-of-the-mill teen drama/comedy, but I think that would be a little unfair. In my opinion, Empire Records has a bit more going for it that makes it stand out from all the others. For one, its characters are very engaging and each major character has their own unique backstory and struggles. We have Lucas, who, as we've established, isn't the brightest person in the world, but his actions never come across as malicious or mean. On the contrary, he cares a great deal about his fellow workmates and sees their struggles clearly, even though some of them are trying their best to hide them from everybody else. He tries his best to help and even has a strong sense of wisdom about him, which is a bit bizarre considering the stupidity which got him into this situation in the first place. Next we've got the manager Joe, a man who also deeply cares about his staff, even though they put him through the ringer with their personal issues. He's someone who has had a few personal disasters in his life.
My wife left me for another woman and my girlfriend forced me to leave at gunpoint. Does this qualify me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he's not exactly the type of guy to wear his heart on his sleeve, but his heart is in the right place. The movie also stars a young Liv Tyler and Renee Zellweger as best friends Corey and Gina, who are polar opposites of each other. Corey is a daddy's girl trying as hard as she can to achieve all of her academic goals, or her father's as it would seem, and is very reserved and rather innocent to the world around her, while Gina is a free spirit who expresses a colourful air of confidence through her sexuality and persona. But as the movie goes on, we begin to see these two girls might not be everything that they project. As for the other characters, we have AJ, a promising artist who is striving to go to college and is secretly in love with Corey. We have Deb, who is clearly going through some very serious mental health and life problems. There's Warren, a dipshit angry shoplifter who gets caught and held under citizen's arrest inside the store. And let's not forget Mark. Bless Mark. He's like a big, friendly, harmless golden retriever and may possibly be my favourite character in the film. There's a subplot in Empire Records involving a character called Rex Manning, played by Maxwell Caulfield. Rex is a has-been heartthrob and a past-it pop singer and he has a new album to promote. He arrives at Empire Records to do a meet and greet and autograph signing for his fans. Maxwell plays him magnificently as an egotistical, self-centered, self-righteous asshole who still believes he's relevant in today's music world. His arrival has been nicknamed Rex Manning Day by Mark. And funnily enough, after the movie gained its cult following, fans designated April the 8th as Rex Manning Day in real life. Rex is upset that he has to do this gig, believing himself to be far above having to come to a small store like this to promote his art. Corey has a huge crush on Rex and plans on losing her virginity to him that day, which sets up for some drama later in the film. Its other major selling point is the location itself, a record shop. The set design is top-notch as far as I'm concerned, reminding me of some of the old record shops I used to go to way back when. Speaking of, the nostalgia is real with this film, even though Empire Records is, of course, an embellished and exaggerated portrayal of a record store. I'm sure a lot of us have some fond memories of visiting such places, scouring through the singles, albums and other merchandise that sat proud on the shelves. And this film is great at firing up those memories. Good memories. And I think it's awesome that in today's age of streaming and digital, record stores have made a great comeback thanks to the collectability of vinyl and such. May it continue, I say. Now, with the movie being called Empire Records and being set in a record store, it goes without saying this film has a banging soundtrack. We've got a great mix of rock spanning all subgenres, with artists ranging from AC/DC and Gwar to the Cranberries, Dire Straits, Gin Blossoms, and a whole lot more. Each track feels perfect for the moment they appear in, and none of them feel out of place. It's one of the many movie soundtracks I listen to often, and I always enjoy it. The movie never outstays its welcome, coming in at a swift 1 hour 30 minutes runtime, and it's paced very well. It's funny without it being ridiculous, and it's very genuine in its approach. It's easy to see why it gained the big cult following it has too. It's well written, highly likeable and relatable, and it's obviously going to have a significant sentimental value to those who watched it as teenagers. As for myself, I first watched it when I was just shy of becoming a teenager at about the age of 11 or 12, but it's a film that I do hold dear to my heart. I've got great memories of my brother renting it from the shop and us watching it together often, and myself and the missus will watch it a couple of times a year too. It's just an easy watch, and it's a fun watch at that. As for criticism, the only one I guess I have is that the movie doesn't kick into action on actually solving the issue of the missing money until its final act. Up until then, Lucas and co aren't exactly running around like headless chickens trying to get the issue resolved. But I'm nitpicking here though. It doesn't ruin or muddy anything about the film, and it's still highly enjoyable. It's definitely a movie of its time, and it's a good movie at that.